Can you hear that? Yo,
Breaking news in the so-called Capitol Hill organized protest zone. There's been yet another shooting. Early this morning, protesters finished a march back to Cal Anderson Park when they say gunshots were fired nearby. You could hear it on that live stream there. Several protesters were streaming it live at the time, but the supposed gunfire did not stop there. We have team coverage this morning on this breaking news. First King 5 Kayla Lafferty joining us now live in the CHOP zone, or just on the outskirts of it safely. Kayla, what are you learning? It looks like the SUV is now behind you.
Yeah, so that is the big thing that's here right now. You can see that white Jeep that we've been reporting on all morning long is still here on scene. One of the big things we're noticing, there are a lot of bullet holes in this car. There's still some medical supplies on scene as well. On the other end, the bumper is ripped off the car. It has been taped off by some of the members of CHOP this morning, but most of the information that we did learn was from those live streams that we mentioned. From Converge Media in particular, they talked to some protesters from CHOP who say the white Jeep drove through Cal Anderson and toward one of the barricades. At some point, there were shots fired. And Omari Salisbury with Converge Media reports that CHOP security shot at those people in the Jeep after they ran into the barricades here. And we can see in the video, of course, and as we just showed you, there are bullet holes, the windows are broken out, the bumper's ripped off there. People on scene say some of the protesters within CHOP pulled two people with gunshot wounds out of that Jeep and rendered aid to them. And this wasn't the first report of gunfire over last night. At about 1:15, there were loud bangs as well that went off at 11th and Olive. Some people at first thought they were fireworks, and people later thought that they were gunshots. And then the confirmed shooting, of course, happened at 3 a.m. And here's a clip from Converge Media's live stream just after the shooting, breaking down what they say happened.
This vehicle right here was driving around the neighborhood and did a drive-by shooting, and then came through and crashed through the barricade. That would be the southern barricade, the one that borders Pike Street. When the vehicle came through and crashed through the barricade, the vehicle was met by force.
And you hear him say there that vehicle was met by force, and we do have a live look, of course, again, of that vehicle where you can see some of those bullet holes. But today is supposed to be the day that Mayor Jenny Durkan says they were going to come in with SDOT and remove these barricades. They originally said that would be Sunday morning. It didn't happen yesterday. They're saying it's supposed to happen today. But of course, we haven't seen any of that happening here this morning, and we don't know what will happen because of the shooting last night. Live in Seattle, Kayla Lafferty, King 5 News.
Of course, we will keep you posted on that fluid situation. Thank you so much, Kayla. Now let's turn to Amity Idrisi live at Harborview with the very latest on the victims who were taken there, or I should say showed up there following the shooting. Good morning, Amity.
Hey, good morning to you, Michelle. So what we've just learned is that one of the two victims who were brought here after the shooting early this morning has died. That victim was brought here by Seattle Fire. And we're not sure about the extent of the injuries, but we do know that that person was brought around 3:30 this morning. At 3:15 this morning, our crews were here, and I'd like to show you some video of the car that brought one of those two victims here. Now, both victims were male. Both were in critical condition before that second victim died. The first victim that was brought here in that car you see is still in critical condition, what we know at this point. Then about just a half an hour ago, Seattle police towed the car that the citizens brought the victim here in, presumably for evidence. We also saw officers talking to the people who had brought that person here. And before that, we caught this video. Check this out. This is video of that very same car attempting to transport the victim to the hospital. And you can see driving around the CHOP zone, unable to get out of the area to get that person to the hospital due to the barricades. It looks like they really didn't know which way to go or what to do. But ultimately, they did make it here to Harborview Hospital. And just a couple of minutes ago, we saw the last of the Seattle police officers leave the area. We saw some folks who were presumably witnesses go with those officers to try to figure out and piece together exactly what happened in the early morning hours. We're going to keep an eye on everything here live at Harborview. I'm Amity Idrisi, King 5 News.
Thank you so much, Amity. We are also getting new video in of the Jeep that was found covered in bullet holes near the CHOP zone. You can see it here driving erratically on the field of Cal Anderson Park, where people had been gathered not long before that. One woman who was live streaming at the time says someone in that car tried to shoot at her. She says one of those shooters was shot by CHOP Security, but again, no suspects have been identified at this time.